Today, we're gonna go inside Trey's kitchen and make one of my favorite dishes of all time, Italian spaghetti and meat sauce. These are the ingredients that we're gonna be going with, and we'll go through them throughout the day. Gonna be usually make it with ground beef, but with the gout going on, I'm going with the ground chicken. Italian sausages, a variety of stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, the sauces, pastes, some sliced mushrooms. You got the garlic. You can use the fresh garlic. I like to use the jar of minced garlic, oregano, sweet basil, my secret ingredients of picante sauce. So that's kind of what we're going to be playing with this afternoon. Alright, so I'm going to start with the sauce. Now the reason I'm starting with this here first is I'm just going to let this stuff start to simmer. And I put 2 cans of, well, the large and then the regular size. And also the stewed tomatoes to give it a little bit of body. 2 cans of that. Now this probably won't be enough, but at least it's going to start to simmer a little bit while I'm messing around with the other stuff. Alright, before I get to the meat, I do want to put some seasonings in the sauce. That would be the oregano and the basil. And how much I put in, I like to just load it up. So my rule of thumb is to completely cover 1/2 or one side of the sauce, and that's the basil, and then do the same on the other side with the oregano. Okay, we've got the garlic. We're gonna get a good sized scoop of garlic and drop that in, and a little bit more. And now we can start to stir, so this can start to simmer and get things going. I do want to start chopping the onions and get those simmering as well. So a lot of people like to talk about doing them thick. Others like to chop them real fine. I'm kind of a middle of the road on that. I don't like to get them paper thin where they dissolve in the sauce. I like to have them where you can tell that they're in there. So there's no real rhyme or reason, but it is important that you have a good sharp knife, and I am using my Miracle knife that we got at a state fair one time, probably overpaid for it, but it is probably the best knife that we've ever used. So we're going to get that and get that into sauce. Okay, while I'm browning the chicken, actually whitening the chicken, I've taken the sausage links and cut them in half in half this way, and then slice them this way. I like to work with them while they're still a little bit frozen because it makes it much easier to handle and keep their shape. Once you get them at that point, then it's real easy to peel off the skins, as you can see here. So I'm going to just take care of all of these real quickly now and throw them in the skillet and brown these. So we've got the chicken going. This is a full 3 pounds. I like a meaty sauce. And the sausages, see how when they're still frozen like that, they keep their shapes. I don't want them to break up because some people like to, push their sausages off to the side. And I'm looking at the sauce here, and I'm not thrilled with the thickness, so I'm going to add some diced tomato. Alright, the chicken is all white, there's not pink through, so it's just enough to cook it a little bit through, and I'm straining it. And the sausages will be done in just a second. So here you can see what it's cooked down to. And now I'm gonna just kind of spoon it into the sauce. And you can see since I added that diced tomatoes. So now I'll kind of just fold it all in and start checking its consistency. Okay, here you can see there's just a little blackening on each side of these, and that's all I want. So then I'm just gonna throw them each in, stir them kind of nicely, and at that point I'm gonna get a good feel. It seems pretty thick. I'm gonna need to add a few more cans of sauce while we do it. Okay, you can see here, just since I've added all the meat, how thick it's got. So I do want to add some sauce. I'm going to add an extra 2 12-ounce or 15-ounce cans. And because I'm adding all of this, I'll also have to add some more spices. Now, my secret ingredient that is no longer secret is paste picante sauce. Mild or medium. I usually go with a small one, but I had about a half of this medium-sized bottle, and so I'm going to also add just a little bit of a small one. That gives it just a right kick and a few extra seasonings that you normally wouldn't add. So it doesn't make it spicy by any means, but it helps give it the right consistency and just adds a little bit of flavor to it. Now I mentioned also that since I added all this extra sauce, I need to add more oregano. So you can see my methodology. I like to put the oregano on one side and the sweet basil also, or basil leaves as they might call it. I'm also going to actually throw a bay leaf in or two, which you'll see, but that's what we've got going, and I'm going to have to taste it here shortly to see if it needs more garlic. And one last item would be the bay leaves that I'm going to put in. Those are full-size leaves. I like to usually just give them a half a crunch when I dump them in and let those babies go in and simmer too. It's 3.5 hours later, and it is just a perfect consistency, and better yet, aroma. So all that's left now is to do up the noodles, the pasta, and we should be good. Spaghetti can be tricky because I like the noodles, the pasta, shortened. So I don't drop them in whole. I break them in half, at least. So here, as you can see now, that salt and the oil that's in there is going to keep the water boiling at a steady temperature, and the oil is going to keep the pasta from sticking together. And I've got plenty of water in there, so it'll stay at a rolling boil. You can see it's still already boiling after adding all of that. Alright, the garlic toast is done. I just strained the pasta. We're going to go ahead now and see how nicely that little pasta scooper works. And then we move on to the final stage. The sauce.
Mmm. It looks nummy. Oh, look at that big mushroom. Where's the sausage?
Well, you gotta scoop it out.
Okay, there's one. I don't want that leaf.
The leaves you can pull out.
Okay, wait now. There. Wait, there's another one. Okay.
And of course, topping it off with the Parmesan Romano. There she is. Bon appetit. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we're going to.